Hey there, this is Simi Arora welcoming you to another episode of Smile with Simi. I hope you all are doing phenomenally well, and I'm super excited. Not because I'm always really excited, but today is really exciting moment because one of my favorite person from my hometown is here today as our guest on our show, and he's incredible inspiration for all the youth. And I'm sure this is going to be one of those episodes that will open your eyes about how to build up strong relationships, how to be a leader in your community, and how to do the work that really, really matters. He is extremely talented, very inspiring, and I'm going to formally introduce him with a lot of respect and honor. His name is Mr. Gaurav Sagar Bhaskar. He's from my hometown, Firozpur, Punjab. He is president of two big schools in Firozpur. He's also general secretary for Mohanlal Foundation, and which is working for a really great cause, which we'll get into the details, and is also the correspondent for last 17 years for one of the biggest newspapers in India, which is Hindustan Times. So with a lot of respect, love, and honor, let me welcome you, Mr. Gaurav Sagar Bhaskar, to our show. Thank you so very much, Gaurav, for being on the show today.
Thank you. It's my honor to have someone in US from Basidenka Valley close to and all going live.
No, well, you are real big inspiration. I'm super excited to have you on the show, and I think the conversation that we're going to have is really going to be powerful, empowering, and encouraging to the people who are going to be here today. So, as I always ask my first question to all my guests, which is all about describe yourself in 3 words, and why those 3 words?
Simple one mantra of my life, be passionate on this. Follow your goal, be workaholic, and believe in Almighty. 3 mantra, success is always there with you.
So explain a little bit for me.
Passionate means if you are aiming something in your life, just think of that. If I can go in some Hindi couplet, so we can say कि कश्ती के मुसाफिर ने कभी समंदर नहीं देखा, जब से निकला हूँ घर से मेरी आँख ने कभी मील का पत्थर नहीं देखा.
Wow.
So if you are going through a journey, just focus on your milestone.
Right.
You will come to know unnumber of good and bad experiences. Words are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promised to keep miles to go before I sleep. This is a mantra, this is a couplet I am following my life. So that's why, despite of being in humble background, Almighty has been giving me so much in my life.
Wow, that's beautiful. And passion and never say dying spirit and never, what you said, the miles and miles before I go to sleep, right? So be persistent. So that's amazing. And it is shown in your actions. I mean, you have done so much in the last almost 10 years, and it is growing and going up and up, and which is also a very big add-on to the small town where we both come from. So this is amazing, and I'm really proud of that. But let's go to the next question, which is all about why in the education sector, and what exactly motivated you to be in there, and what has been the inspiration for you?
You know, in human life, whether you are in India, whether you are in Lebanon, or you are in US, there are 4 major aspects of life. The first is security, then is the food, then is the health, and then is the education.
Yeah.
And above all, I believe education is the supreme, because if you are educated, you are well aware of your rights, you are well aware of your things, you can better do your life. So education is the only mantra which can solve n numbers of issues in your life.
Right.
So there are live examples in the worldwide. If you talk about Obama, you talk about anybody.
Right.
They have come all through only through education. And while in a small town, I always being discussed by people, leave this place, very isolated, no scope for growth. But
yeah.
I am the live example. People are, if you are sincere,
yeah.
if your action speaks well, then words means nothing. Come with true actions.
Yeah.
And in education, it's a noble profession.
What was the inspiration? Because I do know that your family has been into the education sector for a long time, and this initiative probably was started by your respected father. I would really want you to just talk about it a little bit, because he was actually a larger-than-life personality.
What I am sitting in front of you is nothing but a pygmy in the stalwart image of my father, late Mohanlal Foundation. For me, in any bad situation or a good situation, the only and only source of inspiration is Mr. Mohanlal Foundation.
Right.
And people usually don't get good parents, but I got 2 role models in form of my my father and my mother.
Wow.
If my father is a real example of passion, and my mother is a real example of patience.
Wow.
So that's
Beautiful.
both P. They are working.
That's
towards my life for
amazing.
me.
That's
They
awesome.
are, they are the main pillars of my life. Those, every day I have in so many issues, but my mom says, okay, don't worry, try, focus.
Yeah.
Keep your journey along. You will success. And yes, here
Beautiful.
I'm successful, but yes, I'm living a very good life.
That's awesome. No, I think success is a holistic thing. It's not only about how much money you're making. I personally think it's about impact. It's about your relationship. It's about how you feel every day, how fulfilled you feel. It's all the combination of the emotions that we feel are sustaining us and making us happy. That leads me to the next question about the school, which is a new school which you have opened up, and it's a new concept, especially in the smaller towns like ours. So what is this concept about, and why all these changes, and what are the major changes that you have brought in?
Before I may tell you about the new school, I want to tell you about the concept which we are going to follow.
Mm-hmm.
When Swami Vivekananda came to USA, he started speech, brothers and sisters of the world.
Yeah.
It's like you're working for the global. It's not only for the one particular region or one nation or one state. So in Vivekananda World School, we are going to produce the world leaders, the global learners, where they will be made efficient to go any part of the world and be self-dependent. Let them have the holistic development, where they will be working for the human rights. They will be humans more than instead to be any narrow-minded or you can say regionalized people. This way we are going to come with the Vivekananda World School. So around 10 kilometers from the Indo-Pak border. It's a very sensitive place. Being you are to India and Pakistan, you better understand it's water and fire.
Yep.
So they are always on the dagger's drawn. But hopefully, with the grace of Almighty and wishes of our parents, we have set up a third institution in this town, and we are getting a tremendous response here. This is the first day boarding school of this border region.
Wow, this is amazing. In fact, taking a step like that in a smaller town and breaking the barriers, and actually a lot of about it is a mindset game. And a lot of our audience right now here, and I get a lot of emails and questions every day about how to really change the mindset of a victim to a victor. And, I want to just deviate this conversation to the more personal level of you as a personality who's doing something different than regular. What was your biggest challenge? And in terms of taking the step further, because, a lot of times we are trying to do something different, and a lot of people here probably would have tried to do something different, and there are the voices in our head which is coming up and saying, no, I'm not sure about it. No, what are people going to say? No, whether it's going to be a success or not. So I would like to know more about your personal journey around it.
Follow your soul, between depth to the negative. That's the only mantra. People are here to say, they will say, whether you are doing something or whether you're not doing. It's none of your business to think of what the people will say. Let them say, you keep on doing. Let actions speak, not your words. Focus. Be consistent always. If you are passionate about your goal, if you are continuing on your journey, definitely you're going to. Issue is that when you get double mind, whether I will be successful or I will be failure. This is a word of mindset.
Yeah.
It's a word of perception. If you feel you are going to be successful, nothing can stop you.
Yeah.
But if you are doubtful, if you are double-minded, definitely that is a suicide.
Yeah.
Don't start if you are going to be double-minded in the middle of things.
Yeah, true. But here's another little element I want to add here. It's natural to become double-minded because you're starting something which is not a norm, right? And for a lot of the audience here, how do you prepare your mindset that, listen, I mean, what do you think? How do you just dive deeper in yourself and bring that energy level up? What do you do for that?
If you can remember when you were a child, when you used to play in the streets, if there is a cricket match, nobody was concerned about the result. We were loving to enjoy the six. We were loving to enjoy the wicket of the best player of the other team. So
Right.
this is life is like this only.
Yeah.
Enjoy the six, enjoy the wicket, enjoy the catch. Who know whether you will win the match or you will lose the match?
Yeah.
Just to enjoy the moment.
Is enjoy
Just
the journey.
enjoy.
Yeah. enjoy the process of creation. So guys, I think these are the words of wisdom from someone who's done it, been there, all the experiences, and this is what I try to bring on the surface, because if I say something which is very empowering, can have maybe have a lesser impact than bringing people on the show who have actually defied all the odds and have created something different and unique, and most importantly something that really believed in. And this you can actually replicate in your life at all levels, be it your business, be it creation of a new business, be it your relationships. Anything and everything is possible, whatever you can imagine, if you're persistent, if you're passionate, and if you are not giving those negative voices any chance to overpower you. Now I'm going to go for another amazing question, that who's your role model except for your parents? I know that you talked about your father a lot, and if he is the role model, then I would like to know a little bit more. What are the lessons that you learned from his life? Because I know that he was such an inspiring figure. He has fought for our country, and I really want to celebrate him in this interview, because without his celebration, this interview is not going to be totally fulfilling. So I would want you to talk about him for 2 minutes and tell us the lessons that you learned from him.
Yeah, my father, he was always on the one way. Whatsoever work he was into, he was on the exchange.
Mm-hmm.
He never got double-minded. He was passionate and always fearless.
Mm-hmm.
I think he suffered so much in his life, the fear has itself gone out of his life. When he was suffering in the jails of Pakistan, as and when there is any issue, people is opposing, he was having simple reply: if the 6x6 room of a jail could not kill me, you can't kill me.
So why did he go to? He got into the jail in Pakistan because he was a freedom fighter, right? Just to give background to our people.
He was working for nation here. So
okay.
Here, it's a system here in the border areas. People are being, you can say, hired by the agencies to work there because they can't go the things in uniform.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another side of story. So the inspiring thing is that he was saying, "Ki Almighty has sent me back from the jail of Pakistan. So it means I have some purpose to solve.
Wow.
I have my purpose in my life. So your opposition is not exist nowhere. You can't stop." And that's why single-handedly he built up an empire. Wow. And the house, which was never got whitewashed for 7 years, is now having more than 6 acres of land in this border town.
Wow. And
that all hard-earned money, not even a piece of land has been given to us or donated to us by any government. It's all the love of the people. It's a trust of the people.
Right.
Yes, be clear about your goals. Be thorough, professional, but don't be a looter.
Yeah.
Don't loot the people.
Yeah. Do what you go, do with dignity. And I think, and this, I think this attributes definitely gets passed on to the generations to come, because if somebody is such a big living example in your family, in your society, in your neighborhood, is such an inspiration for all of us around that particular, life, which is giving so much to the society back, and as well as making us learn the lessons of life. So this is great, and congratulations to you for being his son. And I think it's a blessing in itself.
Inspiring and proud moment for me, because wheresoever I don't know anybody, my father's name is already there to help me.
That's awesome. And that leads me to one of the probably the last question, which is about the school, about the impact that you're trying to make, and where do you see the education system going? Because there's a lot of things that I have realized while my growing up, and probably my generation people growing up, that there was too much of bookish information which was given to the kids. There's so much of metrics which was set, bars that you have to be at in order for you to be called an outstanding student or a bright student. And there was so much of differentiation between the bright student and not so bright student who's not having good marks. But at the same time, we have also seen in the society that people who have been dropped out of the schools or the universities have been tremendously successful as well. So this overall strategy of educating the kids probably has evolved a little bit. But how do you see it? How do you visualize it? And how are you enforcing that in your school as well?
This is a double-edged sword where you have to face it. If
Mm-hmm.
you're going for the holistic and the comprehensive development, there are parents who are saying, we want my son or my daughter to excel in academics only. We are not more concerned about the sports, but there are parents who we want to have sports only. Let him where he ever is. So we have to maintain the balance. We have to see the mental level and the internal talents of the kids. So only in that we sharpen the things and then try our level best to give him a platform where he can excel better in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And in Indian system also now things are a little bit drawn up and you can say the touch of the technology has made the education very tremendously
Mm-hmm.
good for the kids also. Now with the help of smartphones, they are not
Mm-hmm.
much only limited to the bookish knowledge. They
Mm-hmm.
are exploring the world at their own only. Now even a fourth class student is working on Google to come out to okay, what's the issue? India,
Exactly.
if because she has not gone to the school, he is not only dependent on the teacher or the tutor. They are doing their own also, their own only. And if they are going for some music, they are having some passion for arts or painting or in any cricket, football. They always search internet. Everything is available from Google Auntie. So
Yeah.
Google Auntie is a famous thing among the everyone in India today. I have four, it will be there also.
I'm sure.
People are coming up for the comprehensive development.
That's amazing. That's amazing, and I'm super excited to see the development happening, and more excited for my hometown. I hope there's going to be much more positive changes coming up with the better education system. And I also wanted to ask you this question, which I actually is going to be a really big, change, or I would say a really big agenda of especially in the U.S. where there's a little conflicting relationships between the families, and it's about your foundation, which is Mohanlal Bhaskar Foundation, which is working with the children and helping them to respect their elders. And why this context, and what made you do it?
It's again the impact of my father's life on me after a certain demise. So I always feel his services were not recognized by the government. So let's organize some event on his birthday, 30th November, to
Mm-hmm.
remember him. So it started like this only, but gradually people from the every field of the life joined me. They are bureaucrats, they are politicians, top-notch businessmen, social activists. So now there is a combined forum to work for the youth to respect your elders when they are alive.
Right.
There is none in the world who is more sincere to you than your parents. This
Absolutely.
is a this is an unwritten truth, and it's a
Yes.
practical truth too.
Mm-hmm.
Your life is totally. If you are staying, I can say from the Indian point of view, the Indian society system. I don't know what things are going on there, but even globally also. I traveled to Greece. I met people from all part of the world. So I found people, top-notch people, crying that my son called me one old evening. Oh, can you come to England? What happened? Guys, we have some events. So when the moment I reached, she come to know that his son is getting married.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
it's something stunning.
Yeah.
So he was saying, I was not even informed what to talk about to taking him in confidence for the marriage,
Yeah.
which is in Indian system, it's a very, very life-changing decision of your life.
Yes. And I
So
think, no,
once
I
when
personally
you
think even if it is socially, culturally different in terms of India or any other part of the world or US or any other Western culture, I personally also advocate the relationship between the parents and not only the parents as an elder entity in your life because they have seen more than you. They probably have a little more experiences and rather just totally, walking over it and not listening to them, there probably everybody should be given a chance to be listened to. And of course, in a society like America, it's a mixed thing. It's not like totally opposite of our culture in India. I think it's quite a mix. But at the same time, this is a great initiative. So how do you promote it? Like what is
what
the
we do
Mhm.
every Diwali is a major festival in India.
Mhm.
So we have a cash line celebrate Diwali, not with crackers but elders.
Mhm.
So we assemble the people with the highest age of this town. Like last year, we had the 117 years old man, Moisha Singh, from a very remote village. We fetched him to the venue. We honored him by the editor-in-chief of Hind Samachar Group, Mr. Vinay Chota. So we call people from every section of society, be it doctors, be it lawyers, advocates, journalists, social activists, even women also, and particularly the youth. At their own, come and see, interact with the elders. Whatsoever they will teach you in few minutes, you will take life to learn all those things. Knowledge has three venues. Whether you travel a lot, or you read a lot, or you interact with the elders.
Absolutely.
There are three venues. Otherwise, there is no fourth venue for knowledge. Whatsoever things which your father can tell you, or any person older than you can tell you, nobody can tell you.
Absolutely.
And they have the experience.
Yeah.
The most practical tool of the life, experience.
Right.
It's not available with a cost. You have to spend the most precious thing in that is time.
Yeah.
You have to spend 30 years into that to earn what things can come up, but they can tell you in a minute, yes, don't do, or either you can concentrate on this thing, this where you can excel.
Yeah.
So I have the friends with the age of 80, I have a friend with the age of 8. That is another mantra of my life. Stay young, but be in the company of elders also.
Yeah,
they are the real morale boost in your life. If they are positive.
Yeah.
If they are negative, stay.
I think it depends on personality. So what Mr. Gaurav Sagar is saying is that it's great to have association with an older people in your life, because you get to learn a lot faster, and they are somebody you can look up to if there is any problem in your life. And also personally, to be very honest, I have one of my best friend who is 69 years old, and we have been friends for last 5 years, and I think I share an amazing relationship with him because he's positive, he's amazing, he's tons of experiences. If I get stuck somewhere, I know I can call and take advice. So I think it's not that we should just boycott or rule out older people because they are not from our generation and they really don't understand how the internet works or the smartphone works, but they have the experience, which is probably more important than anything else. So take advantage of it and respect the experience, if not the person as such. But again, a lot of my audience is Indian here, and they know what I'm saying, they know what we are saying, and fortunately we have grown up in an environment where there's a natural tendency, natural respect for the elder people. All right, we go to the last question today. So what do you want to say to the viewers today who are listening to this message, who are listening to your life, who are listening to all the transformations that you did in your life and changed it, and you've been pretty blessed with being a son of such a big role model. So how do you want to encourage our viewers today if they are in any kind of negative situation right now, or they are feeling that they are not that much confident to make those big things as their reality? So what would you tell them?
I just want to tell them it's life. It is full of everything. If there is no day, then how will you value the night? If there is no night, how will you value sunlight? Don't shed away yourself from the sorrows. Don't run over the bad time. It is always in your life. But in bad that time, just calm down. Have some buddies where you can have the shoulder and just burst out. Just have the habit to share your things with the confidential people. You need to have. It is a human tendency. If you are not going to have some buddies in life, that can be your parents, that can be your neighborhood guide, that can be any word in the part of when the word is having so much means of the communication, you can talk to anybody anywhere. Just build strong relationships. Yes,
that's
he
amazing.
or she is the one where you can shut out without any doubt. Be sincere in that relationship.
Right.
Don't play politics. Don't aim for the short games. Always aim for the long things which are coming in the future. Be far-sighted. Don't be a selfish person. Think of everybody of your team. Don't be just self-centered. There's no word in even your family. If you're self-centered, nobody is going to come up to you. This is the same thing in a relationship. If it's always I, then it's nothing. It should be we. Let's work for us, not for me or you. Be collective in the progress.
That's
always
amazing.
Be true to your relations. That's my mantra. And negative, bad time is phase of the life. निकल जाएगा. In Hindi we always say कि ये गुजर जाएगा. अकबर ने बीरबल से पूछा. Akbar asked people, can you tell me anything which is good, which sounds good? In bad time, but bad in good time. So he said, "ये वक्त गुजर
Guzar
जाएगा."
jayega. And there's a story behind it, like why
Yes,
exactly. Yeah,
story.
I know. But this
Yes,
is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you so very much for the powerful words. And it's all about building up strong relationships and also having a great relationship with yourself and living an authentic and realistic life, which is really focused and centered around the things that you're passionate about and the things that you really want to do. So, and Venika also said here, adding to your point, when I become we, problem becomes passion. So this is awesome. Thank you so much, Venika, for adding it. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for waking up
thank you.
early and coming on the
My
show.
play, my.
It was
I'm
great
really
talking to you. All right, guys, this was Mr. Gaurav Sagar Bhaskar, who is again the president of two schools in my hometown, Firozpur. And I was really highly inspired by this family and the way they have grown up from nothing and created this beautiful, amazing education system for the kids. And there's a first boarding school which they have opened up in my really small town. So I wanted to bring him on the show and learn the lessons of life. I hope you really enjoyed it. And before I go, I just want to let you know that if you are not in my inner circle, you can still come in and join at my website, www.simiarora.com. Just sign up at any of the boxes in the page and you will receive a free ebook as well. And also you'll be in my inner circle where I send some awesome content every week, specific to my email list. That content you will not get anywhere. And that is one thing that I really believe in. I really want to give out a lot of the people who believe in my work and are in my inner circle. So get your butt off and sign up at my website, www.simiarora.com. And if you like what I do and if you have the understanding and the passion for the empowerment, then I would really respect if you can share this message and share this message of empowerment, all the people that you know who seek empowerment, who probably can benefit from this. This is going to be great because we all are trying to make this place a wonderful, powerful, magical earth to live in. And I think it's people who make a difference. It's people who come together and make a difference for other people. So let's join hands in this. And if you want to share this message, please do that. I'll really, really appreciate it. So thank you very much once again, guys, for being here. Thank you again and again for all the support, emails, and love that you send my way because that keeps me going and that keeps me empowering you as well. So signing out for today. Take care of yourself. Lots of love. Bye-bye.